Flynn is here talking tech. We're going to get geeky. We're going to go behind the scenes of his studio setup. He just added a fancy new piece of gear that he's very excited about, and I'm very excited about. We're going to be giving away a Switch Pod. So look forward to that. If you don't know, Switch Pod is Pat and Caleb's product, and it's perfect for videographers, for you and me, for people who shoot video and go live, because you put your phone right here and this actually collapses. He'll show it to you. It's a fantastic device that I use constantly. So we're going to talk about also strategy around his live streaming, how he's connecting to his community, how he grew his channel with live streaming, and what he's doing with the knowledge that he's learning through his live streams. So if you are new around here, please type new in the comments. I would love to meet you. And if you are new, then you don't know me. Hello, I'm Luria from Live Streaming Pros, where I help you create professional live video that's uniquely you. And thank you so much for being here, Pat Flynn. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. Excited.
Now, those of you who don't know Pat, most of you do, but if you don't know Pat, his channel has 280,000 subscribers at this point. You might know him from Smart Passive Income, where he helps you build a business with passive income, but he also talks a lot about other stuff as well. So it's all about building your business, growing your business, and really growing your expertise out there, right? Your people know you for who you are and what you know. Mm-hmm. So you want to speak a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, I help entrepreneurs discover what their superpowers are so they can find other people who they can help. And for me, any business, any good business at least, is one that serves others. And I always come from a serve first approach. If the more you can help others, the more you will be rewarded. Your earnings are a byproduct of how well you serve others. And part of serving is to first show up. And this is why I'm predominantly a content creator. I love showing up in different ways on a podcast with my podcast, Smart Passive Income Podcast, which has over 60 million downloads. That's one of 5 podcasts that I have. I have a couple of YouTube channels now and a third one starting up. Definitely been blogging for a while, since 2008. My first business was, in fact, helping people with something very niche, and it was helping people pass a very particular exam in the architecture industry, which is where I came from. I was laid off, actually, in 2008 during the Great Recession, and I didn't know what I was going to do at the time, but thankfully I discovered this world of online business, the ability to help and serve others all around the world. And the cool thing is, your store, whatever your store might be, is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, even on holidays. And it doesn't happen right away, but you can generate income more passively, or residual income, in a way where you've set things up ahead of time, whether it's systems or automations or businesses that can help serve others even while you're asleep. And so whether that's a side gig or a full-time thing, I'm here to help, and just learning as I go. And I share everything along the way: wins, failures, how much money we make, how much money we lose. It's all an open book.
Yes. And thank you for talking, because I needed to catch my breath. I was still out of breath from the countdown timer.
That was fun.
So breath caught. But one of my favorite things about Pat is that he is so giving. He does come from a serve first mentality, and he just gives. He's not only generous with his time, but he's also incredibly smart and very strategic in terms of how he goes about building his business. Welcome. W.S. Gibson is brand new to us, so welcome. Thank you so much for being here. All right, so we're going to talk about tech. Pat's going to give us a little behind-the-scenes studio tour, and he does use ECAMM, so we'll talk about that, since this is the Go Live Now show with ECAMM in partnership with Live Streaming Pros, and we're also going to talk about the strategy side of things as well. But I know y'all want the tech, so let's get to the tech. Before we do, Pamela is also new. Welcome, Pamela. Thank you for being here. You know what? Well, the other thing, speaking of community members and meeting new people, one of the best things, or the things that you're best at, is community. You and I share a lot of the same values around community and connection. Mm-hmm. So we're definitely going to dive into that conversation as well.
Perfect.
So tech.
I know you want to see the goods. I know you want to see what's going on. So for live streaming, ECAMM by far one of the most helpful tools I've used in such a long time. It just makes it so easy, and everything that you're about to see runs through ECAMM for me in the morning. I've live streamed every day now for 325 days in a row. And actually at the top of the hour here is my next show. And I'm really excited because we're closing in on 1 full year straight daily. I haven't missed a day. And as I've been doing this, I've been getting better and better. I've been implementing things to help make it more interesting and more engaging. And I've kind of become a little bit of a nerd when it comes to all this tech stuff. So I have a lot of stuff. If you're just starting out with live streaming, I don't want you to get intimidated by what I'm about to show you, but also it could be something that you could potentially lead up to. So I have a lot of fun.
Yeah, before you go on there, a long time ago when you first started live streaming, we built your studio, and then of course you changed locations after a break-in and all kinds of crazy stuff. And what I love is that you've now built this yourself, and you made it simpler too, right? It's a very
I did make it simpler.
It's not simple, but it's simpler, and it's a lot more. There's a lot more functionality to it, so that you can easily use it. This is in your house, right?
Yes, it's in my house. It's in my office. I took all that equipment that you helped me set up back in the day. I've consolidated it, and then I've added to it based on the needs that I have.
Exactly. So, I love this.
Starting out simple is great, but also there's so much out there that you could do to enhance what you have. So I'm going to switch cameras really quick. I'm going to use my Logitech here, and I'm going to switch the camera input so that we can sort of do a little play-by-play as we go along. So I'm going to see if this works. He's
going to freeze for a second. Oh, and there we go.
There you go. Okay, so there you guys are. So this is the camera that I'm using to stream on right now. This is a Canon EOS R mirrorless DSLR kind of thing with an aperture monitor so I can sort of see myself. The HDMI comes out of the monitor and it goes into my handy dandy CamLink 4K. And this is what is converting the signal from the camera over to the computer, which then I can stream out and use as a webcam thanks to ECAMM's virtual cam. Now, this is my handy dandy stream deck. I do have the XL version with the 32 button array, and I have everything here that allows me to, while streaming live, just click a button to change scenes, to zoom in. I have a very fun one here down below where it literally zooms in close to my face and does the surprise sound like brr. And it like if I feel people are asleep, I like hit that button and then they're awake again. It's so funny.
Before you move on, I love that, but we got to talk for a second because you need the keys that my graphic designer made. These are
I know.
custom keys. I'm going to send those to you because your stream deck could look so much cooler.
It does look cooler. Yeah, I got the colors over here though on my Rodecaster
That's
Pro.
True. Yes.
This is what I use for podcasting as well as live streaming, and also cool fun sound effects like this one right here. And so you should hopefully be able to hear that cheering sound. And I have my intro music here for my show. I also have a fun slap. This is my favorite one as of late. Because I could either high five my audience and slap, or if there's a troll, I can just be like, get out of here. You're out. And yes, there's a whole bunch of chords. They're all sort of put over here. I could probably do a better job of managing that. So this is my primary device. This is a 16-inch MacBook Pro. I'm really looking forward to the M1s that are coming in. But this is a iPad Pro, and I use this as what's called a sidecar. Because on your Mac computer, you can find a thing called Sidecar that then allows you to use your iPad as a second screen, which is really cool. So this allows me to have the chat up while I have ECAMM and or websites up here that I'm showing live. So the chat always is over here, and I have both, usually the YouTube chat as well as ECAMM's chat, because the YouTube chat will help show me what new members there are in the channel and all those kinds of things too. As far as the mic, and you could hear Slack going off probably. As far as the mic here, I'm using a Rode NTG5, and this is a shotgun mic that's put on a nice little Manfrotto clamp here, because I use this mic over on my other desk over there for my other channel, which is a Pokemon trading card game channel. And I just simply like take this clamp and I move it over there. It's all still connected to the Rodecaster Pro, and I can do my fun little Pokemon videos over there too. And this is nice because I can have it off of camera and off of shot, but it's still picking up really good audio. You're also seeing a light there from Aperture. This is the 120D Mark II with a mini dome as well that actually I used to have pointing at me, but it was a little too harsh, a little too cinematic. So what my videographer told me to do is like just point it away and put it at 100%. And that sort of gives me this nice wash in my face behind me. Now, sorry if this is giving you a headache, but this is the view that you're normally seeing. Behind me, you can also see some blue. I have above my head here in a chair, you can see that blue light. That's providing that nice...
it has its own chair?
It has its own chair, yes.
Aww.
It has its own chair. And then over here on the other side with all the stuff, I have some nice pink accent lighting as well to get the sort of nice little wash behind me too, which is pretty neat. Now, you might have seen this thing here, and this is what Lurie was talking about earlier. This crane-looking device is actually from Edelkrone, and this is super cool because it allows me to get full up and down and rotational access. And so imagine a camera up here. I don't have it up here because I'm actually using it to stream right now, but I can, this is the coolest thing. This is the coolest thing. So on my app, I can move it where it's perfectly balanced. I can be like, okay, this is frame 1. Boom. I want it to be here. Push a button on the app. It keys that frame. I move it to wherever I want it to be on the next frame. I hit the button and then I go, okay, I want it to go from point A to point B in this much time. And then it just goes like, you know, those like giant robots that are thousands of dollars that people have in their studios. Like I have one, but this isn't tens of thousands of dollars like that. And this is from Edelkrone. It's the coolest thing because I get these nice, like almost like drone-like shots and like broadcast style sort of productions. And I use that.
What's the name of the model?
This is the Edelkrone. It's using a whole bunch of things put together. Okay. The jib with the God, there's just so many.
There's so many pieces.
There's like the Pan Pro. There's the Pan Pro with the Head Plus and the jib slider, and it's just like all those things in concert with each other create this super cinematic thing that just adds another flavor to your broadcasts and to your pre-recorded videos. And then my other favorite tool, actually, I can go back to this regular view, so I might disappear for just a second.
Okay.
So that was a lot of stuff, but this is, I don't know if you've seen this before.
Oh, here, let's go there.
This is, so you need a wide angle for this. This is a probe lens from Laowa, and this is actually a lens you can put on your camera. See, there's the back of the lens right there, and at the front you have this little tiny scope. It looks a little like something like for a procedure that you never want to have, but it's actually a lens that's great because you can get incredible macro shots in places that you couldn't ever imagine. And I just like, based on what I just said, that you're maybe having not so great visuals right now, but imagine like this going into a cereal box. It actually can get the grains of the cereal like in there. I use it for getting super close-ups of my Pokemon cards, and nobody's ever seen anything like this before. And
we have to make sure that people understand that you have a brand new channel about Pokemon, which is tell everybody about that, because you're not doing like macro shots of your Pokemon cards on your main channel. I'm sure you bring it into it as like fun, but yeah, you have 2 channels.
I do have a new channel, just started last month, and it's based on a hobby that I picked up during the pandemic here, collecting Pokemon cards, which has been a really fun and exciting thing that I get to do with my kids. And also I can invest in. A lot of these cards are getting very expensive, and I can share my collection and my stories and things like that. And we just launched last month, and we're already over 7,000 subscribers. We had a video where I was opening a mystery box that I purchased from eBay, hit 100,000 views yesterday, which was just insane. And so I'm having a lot of fun allowing myself to sort of take a breath from the hardcore entrepreneurial type stuff to just do a hobby, but also take the things I've learned from Smart Passive Income and the YouTube channel and bring it into that space and create something really new and exciting. So yeah, it's been really neat and a fun experiment and a fun way to just scratch an itch and have some fun. Yeah, I'm like a 38-year-old dude playing with cardboard with cartoons on it, and I'm having such a blast. It's so weird.
I love it. and behind you, this is a great example of adding your personality into your content, right? So his Pokemon set is very Pokemon-ish, but here on his main set, this is all stuff he is passionate about and cares about. You want to, like, obviously the hoverboard we saw during the countdown timer, you're a big, sorry, pop culture and me don't get along. Back to the Future fans, okay?
Yeah. So I just changed the aperture so you can see these things now, but you see the Star Wars helmet, the Mandalorian helmet, Iron Man. Big fan of Marvel and the Marvel Universe. There's some Back to the Future stuff up there too. I do have the sort of play button there, just kind of flex a little bit
Hanging
on the
out.
side, but it's not front and center. I have my books that I've written here too, and I have some more Back to the Future stuff up here. This thing right here is actually my favorite piece. It's in this glass case, and it's a 70 millimeter reel of a trailer of Back to the Future that was actually played in 1985, and I have it, and I haven't never played it. I'm worried about putting it on a spool and then it like disintegrating, so it's just in this glass case. And as you can see, there's more stuff over here. I have the Switch Pod. I have some, Mario art that's kind of hidden by more book stuff. The Nike mags from Back to the Future and the hoverboard. So yeah, I mean, it's on the surface, it's like, what does that have to do with anything related to business? Nothing really. It's just who I am. But when it comes to doing business, it's about the person-to-person relationship. The more you get to know about somebody, the more you begin to know them, to like them, to trust them. And so actually it has everything to do with business. And it's interesting because whenever like somebody's on the road and they see a DeLorean, they'll take a picture of it and they'll tag me and they'll go, Pat, like this made me think of you.
Yeah.
Or when they see anything Back to the Future at the store, they're like, Pat, I was thinking of you when I saw this. And it's like my brand is now showing up in places that I would have never shown up before, simply because people start to learn more about me and who I am.
Exactly. And I always, people get so frustrated with if they tweet something about a picture of their food or their dog or something that they're passionate about. It gets more traction on social media than your content promotions, right? And that's a thing of beauty, but people get really upset about it. But it is about that human-to-human connection. Every time you talk about something personal, you're growing that connection, and it's so, so valuable. People stick with you. When you launch a new channel, they go sign up for that channel, right? I mean, because they know you and they like you. So thank you for diving into that. Also, speaking of additional channels, I forgot to mention, and somebody mentioned it in the comments, that you also do a Twitch stream with your son. I think people would want to hear about that.
Yeah, so both kids actually are involved, and it's called Hot Calls Only, and this is a gaming channel where, we game anyway. So I figured out how to stream it and was just like, hey, let's just see if we could, bring some other people along the ride. And we don't have a giant channel. I mean, I think at this point we have, 200 followers on that channel, which is, still a lot. But every time we go live, we have, 10, 12 people in there. And it's cool because the kids, even at a young age, are starting to know what it's like to hold an audience's attention, to be engaging. And that's a skill that's going to be so important, when we look into the future, I notice we're gonna see a lot of robots and other things that are doing a lot of this hard labor type stuff. But what's never gonna happen? They're never gonna replace the soft skills. And part of that is empathy. Part of that is audience building. Part of that is problem solving in different ways. And this is a kind of it's a fun thing that we could do together to bond, and also records those conversations that we have and those fun moments where we win and those tough losses. And it's something that we'll be able to look back on as well and just kind of laugh over, I'm sure, when we're all older. And, the Twitch platform is really interesting. There's a lot of fun things for gamers specifically, and the way that they use bits and the way that they just do what they do for gamers. But obviously it's not just for gaming anymore. And it's, again, just a fun bonding experience more than anything.
Yeah. I love it. And our very own Callie Fabro is a subscriber over there as well. So
Cool. Thank you.
As am I. I just don't spend a lot of time on Twitch, so I don't see it all the time. But before we move on to strategy discussions, I think that you guys really, really, really want to hear, how he's using live to feed recorded content and some other really important things. So stick around for that. Just a couple of tech questions that came through. I thought I saw some other ones that haven't made their way over here. But what are the blue and pink light sources that you're using? Do you know the brand?
Those are I think it's Sansi, S-A-N-S-I. Let me see. I can, without blinding myself. Yeah, S-A-N-S-I. S-A-N-S-I, and they're just LED floodlights. And it's cool because they have a remote. I can literally change the color on the fly if I need to.
Nice. We are giving away, I saw a question about when are we giving away the Switch Pod. We're going to give that away at the end of the show. You got to stick around, so do not forget. That is what the Switch Pod looks like outside of the box. And that it's so cool. It's magnetized, so it like sticks together, but then you can flip it out to stand it on the desk. And it's a really stable platform for your video shooting. I love it. Okay, and you also have the new ball head as well.
The ball head, a mobile adapter, all the things.
All the things. Ryan wanted to know what lens you have on your camera.
Right now, I think I'm using a 50 millimeter 1.8 f aperture. Or no, is it actually? This is I changed it. So I have.
Oh.
I used to use the 2.8. The Canon 50 millimeter. Now I'm using a, oh gosh. Oh no, this is that one. This is that one. Sorry, it is that one. 1.4 f, 1.4. So I can get super deep, as you can see, like with the blurred background. It almost is like, it almost looks like a green screen now when it's too deep. This is, I think, at 1.4. So I usually go to like 3.2 just to give it a little bit of definition, because I still want people to see what these things are behind me.
I love that. People think this is a green screen, but it's not. I have to go pull out my katana over there.
What lens are you using?
I'm using the Sigma 16 millimeter f1.4.
Nice.
But I'm on a Sony.
Looks good.
Not a Canon. So, yeah.
Right.
But I think they have the same lens for Canons as well, though. Okay, so the second camera, it's not your Logitech Brio normally, correct? Your second camera, you have a different camera?
I have a ton of second cameras.
Yeah. Okay. So are you constantly swapping them in and out?
I am. My main second camera, which I don't have hooked up right now, is just this Sony ZV-1, which is such a beautiful, lightweight camera that's very versatile. I use it for vlogging. I put it on the Switch Pod. But I also have it hooked up on a nice little arm next to me if ever I want to do sort of, like, if I'm going to be presenting live at a conference, right, virtually, which most of the things I do now are virtual. And a lot of the stage time I did in person is now converted over to virtual. I'll have 3 cameras set up. I'll actually have the Logitech Brio way in the back to have like this sort of full view of the office. And I'll just push a button on Stream Deck through ECAMM to share that. And it just like blows people away. They're like, who's doing it? Like, I don't see anybody else in the office with you. Who's running the show? And I'm like, I'm just pushing buttons, right? And that's a fun thing. And then this one will be over here, sort of like a close-up view. So if ever I'm like telling a story, I sort of just switch to this view, and it's like just personal, it's closer, it feels more intimate, and then I kind of go back here for the teaching part. And I'll make jokes sometimes. I'll be like, yeah, okay, everybody, and then I'll switch to the back room, and I'll be like, yeah, you even in the back, pay attention to this. It's just so fun just to kind of mess around.
Yeah, and that's a really good point. You can use, there's a question coming through about engagement, and because your shows are very engaging. And like I said, he cares about his community. And so he loves to engage with people. But you can use a combo of tech stuff along with the, just natural sense of community to create that engagement. So that's something to think about, is how can you use your tech to be more engaging, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, you have it, use it, because not everybody's going to be able to do it. And it takes practice, it takes time. 3 things that help me engage with my audience more. Number 1, saying people's names. Like literally, that's the most beautiful sound to a person, is their own name. So welcoming people in, saying thank you, putting their name on the screen always blows their mind, just like, what ECAMM can do, whether it's pulling in YouTube comments or what have you. That's always a fun thing. Like, learn how to do that, and it blows people's minds. Secondly, using different camera angles or zooming in, zooming out, creating different scenes that just some of them are zoomed in, some of them are zoomed out. For example, if I'm telling a story and there's a punchline, I'll zoom in, which I'm just not set up to do that right now, but I'll zoom in and I'll turn the music down, and then I'll make my point, and it like hits home just that much more, when otherwise it just would be just part of the normal sentence, I would say. And the other thing is sound, right? Sound is actually a very important part of video. So important, in fact, that more people are likely to watch a bad video with good sound than a great video with bad sound. They're more likely to watch it if there's good audio. So using these like pattern interrupts again to engage the audience from the slap, like high five, boom, high five, that kind of thing. Or if somebody does something like, hey, today I got my first sale, I'll be like, yo, Joel, hey, everybody in the chat, say congrats to Joel. And then that makes everybody feel like they're sort of in it with them, right? I have the audience, hey, type 1 if you're this, or type 2 if you're this, that kind of stuff.
Yay! I use the confetti for things like that.
I like the confetti. I like the confetti. Or if somebody is like, yo, Pat, thanks so much, I'll be like, yo, bruh. Thank you. And just like a little bruh in there, and having fun with the sound effects. The other thing that's cool is like segments. So creating moments where you're like, okay, well, this next part is going to be different. So when I'm telling stories, often I'll just click this button, and then I'm in storytime mode. This is a lullaby version of my theme song, and so I can tell the story over it, and it just and then in YouTube I have a emoji for my members, and there's one emoji that is a storybook emoji, and whenever I pop that music on, like the whole chat just like floods the storybook emoji, and it's just so fun because other people who are in there are like, what's going on? What is this cult? I have no idea.
Yes, I love that. And also things like, okay, so somebody came in late, right? What I call audience triggers, engagement triggers. Somebody said, hey, yeah, Gary, you're late to the party. I always tell everybody, if you're late, you're supposed to bring cookies. So how many cookies did you bring? You've got 215 people to bring cookies to. So, things like that, right? It can be really fun. Pat does viewer engagement really, really well, extremely well. He's one of my favorite people for how he treats his community.
Chris, by the way, has showed up in probably 98% of all the streams I've done. So that's the other thing. You get to remember these people the more you do it. They become family to you. Chris is family to me, and so many others. And we've, we have mods in there who were once just regular view. I mean, it's just, live is so different than anything else. I mean, I love pre-recorded content, but there's just something about live. It's just unreal.
Well, let's talk about that. So how do you mix strategically with your channel the recorded video and the live video? I know you went live every day in 2020 and still are doing that, right? And so where does recorded video fit in?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, to be honest, I went live one day just to help out when the pandemic started and everybody was in lockdown and freaking out about their business. I just went on to answer questions. And that one day turned into 2 days. The 2 days turned into 1 week. I didn't approach this with, okay, here's how I'm going to do live. I just went live because I wanted to help out. And I found that to be really, really fulfilling and also very helpful for people who could get direct access to me. And I started noticing the same people, like I was saying, coming in every day. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go for a full month and see what happens. And the month turned into 6 months. And then here we are on day 326 or 325 or something on our way to 1 year. But obviously it takes time to go live. But one thing I've done to help ensure that I can keep on this streak is just making sure it's super easy for me to do. So what I like to say is if there's any habit you want to form, remove as much friction to make that habit happen as much as possible. And so I can just sit down, go live in probably 2 minutes now because everything is set up. The lights are exactly where they need to be. If I had to set up every day, I wouldn't do this every day for sure. So removing as much of that friction as possible is key. But over time, it started to become something like, okay, I'm going to be doing this for a while. Like, how does this actually fit into the brand? And I started noticing that because in the beginning, I just had a thumbnail that was like, hey, I'm live. And it didn't really speak to any particular topic. I was just answering people's questions. And so one day I decided to do a very topic specific live. I can't remember exactly what it was about, but it was about, I think, conquering your fears or something like that. And I started to see like 3 or 4 times more people coming on live and 3 or 4 more times people watching the replay after. And then I started to play around with the thumbnails. Okay, well, what if I combine a topic, but then really have a good thumbnail to go along with it instead of just like a generic one? And I started to see even more people coming in. So we've had up to 300, 400 people watching at a time. It's gone down a little bit, I think, because people are not needing as much help as possible or as they needed in the beginning. But still, we're finding new people all the time. And so it's been really interesting because over time, we have 300 days of data to see how this has helped the channel. It actually hasn't grown the channel explosively like some pre-recorded videos do. There's been 1 or 2 videos here and there that were live that have done very, very well with tens of thousands of views. But in general, it's going to be around the same mark. However, some really interesting things have happened, because on the live stream days where we see a certain topic hits, that signals to me that I should probably create a much more honed in, shorter 10-minute version of that to consolidate that information, not make it be about the live experience, but be about that video itself. And I did that the other day, and a video that I have up has now over 100,000 views as a pre-recorded video, but it was influenced and actually inspired by the live, which was really cool. And because we were live, I was able to discover more about what people had questions about. I could understand the language that they were using that I can then put into that pre-recorded video to hit harder with people who didn't even know who I was, now finding it and being like, wow, this person knows exactly what I'm going through. How did they know? It's because I've actually talked about this once before with people live, right? And
yeah,
it's
one of my favorite things
really
about
helpful.
live is that you do get to hear from them in a way that a survey through email can't do. You're just not going to get the same information. And I use Clubhouse for the same exact thing, discovery of what people need to talk about and hear about.
For sure.
And speaking of Clubhouse, they all have a countdown time, or a countdown, or not a countdown, but a count of how many times I say Clubhouse on a stream. So,
oh, is this your new favorite thing? That's why, right?
So, are you enjoying Clubhouse? Just
I am enjoying Clubhouse. I am dedicating some time to it, and it's very, very contained as far as that time, because from what I've heard, many people are forgetting to go to sleep. They're not going to work on time. They're listening to Clubhouse at dinner with their family, and I'm just like, I don't want to do that. It's a very powerful platform, but with great power comes great responsibility. You got to remember. So I have to put constraints around that. But it is an amazing viral growth platform. It does fill in that hole that has been missing since conferences haven't been happening.
Yeah.
And I've been able to connect with people who I haven't even seen for years on the platform. It's so powerful.
Yeah.
I use it for, like you, discoverability for what the pains and problems are of my audience, how they speak about things. And I find it also a very low barrier to putting yourself out there, right? It's a comfortable spot,
you don't have
safe.
to worry about makeup and hair.
Exactly. It's audio only. So a lot of my audience likes to come on and feel empowered because they're able to actually like share something in front of people without worry.
Yeah.
When before on a podcast or even a video, it feels very scary. Clubhouse doesn't feel as scary.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, moving off Clubhouse. Going back to how you were looking at analytics to discover that live didn't necessarily grow it more than, but what specific analytics were you looking at? Just how many subscribers that video brought in? How can you help guide people to see what's working on their channel?
Yeah, so I mean, the beauty of YouTube is there's 100,000 things that you can look at to, and that's also the curse of it. There's so many things, but the nice thing is there's a few particular analytics that you could look at that help. Obviously, views to see just generally how views of one video stack up and compare to another video, so you can start to inform certain things from there. And then within the video itself, considering how many subscribers did that video grant you, how many people watched for how long is also very important. Retention rate, obviously. And with these videos, beautifully, YouTube is now giving us more information about sort of like a line graph of retention during the video. So you can go to certain spots where people drop off, for example, and I'm doing that every day. I'm going to see, okay, where are people leaving? Like, where are they losing their attention? Where am I losing their attention? Why did I lose their attention? So I can go to that spot in the video to see, okay, maybe the next time I say that, I want to say it this way or do it this way. And sometimes you see people falling off a cliff, or sometimes you see giant spikes. And the spikes are really interesting too, because how would it go from lower retention to higher? It's because people are going back to rewatch that part. And you want to pay attention to what people are rewatching. That's really, really important. In addition to that, looking at, and this is a big one for me, it's impressions and click-through rates. This is what informs how well your titles and thumbnails are doing. And that's really key. But in general, also a thing that's more analytical and more just gut feeling. I am paying attention to the comments. I'm asking people how useful something was, and having that direct and immediate feedback live is unmatched. So that's sort of another thing that's less analytical, but still something I pay attention to consider, okay, how or where might we go from here?
Yeah. And talking about, the structure of your streams and how you're using live strategically, I want to talk about how, like, do you trim at all? Because I always talk about intention. What is the intention of your video? Are you trying to do a live stream for replay value, or is it community focused, or a number of different intentions? And you have just like we do here, you have different shows that are kind of focused on different intentions. Like your Friday shows are very gamified and fun. Do you unlist those? Do you keep those up? Do you trim any videos? Talk to me about the structure and show flow.
Yeah, no, I keep all the shows up there, and I also realize that we actually get more views on our replays. The Friday show is more of an outlier because that's sort of a fun way to wrap up the week.
Yeah.
We do games, prizes. I have a wheel that comes out. We play a fun game called brand standing, where we have to. It's just super fun, and I also have a secret word that I have to share in every single stream, and if I miss it, I have to play a very embarrassing game on Friday. So that's when that happens, and that's another fun sort of insider thing. I love sort of for communities creating insider things like the Clubhouse thing that you just talked about, or the secret word, or if you ever come to California and you speak to somebody who's been to In-N-Out, they're going to tell you about the secret menu, because that's like this thing that we in California just feel like we have to share with people who aren't familiar with the secret menu at In-N-Out. Like that kind of thing goes a long way with building community. But as far as the actual episodes themselves, I don't want to trim them because there is value in the chat, and on YouTube, if you trim at all, the chat goes away, at least as far as I remember the last time I tried this. So I start the show as if everybody's watching there. I don't have a countdown. I don't have a moment in the beginning where I'm like, hey, everybody, welcome in. Let's just wait a couple minutes for people to file in. Hey, Jimmy. Hey, Chris. Hey, Samson, how are you? Because for the value of that for the replay viewer is 0. So I like to just get right into it to a point where my community knows that I start right on time. So let's make sure we show up on time. And number 2, anybody watching the replay can just feel like they're watching an on-demand video about this topic that is represented in the title and the thumbnail. After a hook in the beginning, which is what I include. So I start the show, hey, welcome everybody. In this video today, we're going to do X, Y, Z, and this is why it's important. So hopefully I've hooked people in. I play the intro, and then I sort of have earned the right to, if you will, start engaging with people there, because people watching the replay will still feel, okay, well, this is worth sitting through because you've already told me the reason why I need to stick around.
Yeah. And you have to decide, right? So for me, I do the countdown timers with the dance and all of that for strategic reasons, but also to create a valuable live experience that people don't get on the replay. Right. And it encourages them to show up. I've had several people tell me I'm their getting ready DJ, essentially. Like they turn that on while they're getting ready, right? And they love that. But again, you do lose the live chat. So I have to choose where my priorities are, right? And so
exactly.
But then you do want to
There's
structure
no wrong
it.
way, though.
Exactly. You just have to play.
The cool thing is it's your show. You can do whatever you want.
Exactly.
That's the coolest part about it.
I think people need to hear that. Okay, so we're about to give this away. I got to let Pat go because his live show starts in 20 minutes.
Oh, we'll be fine. It just takes a couple minutes.
Okay, well, I didn't want to bump you right up to it. So we're going to give this Switch Pod away. This is how we're going to do that. We're going to play 2 truths, 1 lie. Is that the name of the game?
2 truths and a lie. Yes.
2 truths and a lie. So Pat's going to tell you 2 truths and a lie. And first person to guess the lie, I guess we should say, wins the Switch Pod.
Yay. Okay. So I'm going to tell you 3 facts about me, and 2 of these things are true. 1 of them is a lie. You have to tell me which one is the lie. All right?
And I did not give my team a heads up on this, so I'm just going to take a second while they hear this information. So you guys are looking for the first person to guess the lie. Okay, go.
And they won't know what the answer is, so they'll have to sort of scroll up to see who's first.
That's true.
Yeah, that's okay. Okay, so first, truth or maybe lie. I set a record at the hospital I was born at as an 11-pound, 12-ounce baby. So I was born 11 pound, 12 ounces.
Okay.
Number 2, I took one extra class my 5th year of college just to stay in the marching band. One more year at UC Berkeley. And number 3, I'm a 90. I was born in the 80s, but was a teenager in the 90s, and to fit in school, I dyed my hair blonde to match all those boy bands that all the girls wanted to be with. So which one is the lie?
Which one is it? So number 1, 2, or 3? Real quick recap.
Fat baby, extra year in college just to stay in the marching band, or dyed my hair blonde in high school because that was the thing to do back then. Luria, which one do you think is the lie?
The hair.
You're right. That is right.
Yes, hold on, I need confetti. Wait.
That is absolutely right. There is a little bit of a story there. I actually did try to dye it blonde, but I didn't know that you first had to bleach your hair. I went straight to color from the dark, and it just turned brown. So it was a fail.
Oh, that's hilarious. I once went blonde, and now I have white and stuff, but I went blonde, and I rushed back to the store with my hat on to get black dye to go back to my dark brown hair. It was horrible. It was just the worst. Okay, so we're going to they have to say number 1, 2, or 3. My team is how are we picking this? Yeah, you have to say number 1, 2, or 3 because we don't know when you say truth or lie when that came in, guys. So the first person to say number 3 is what we're looking for that.
Whoever said hair dyed or blonde.
Yeah, if you say hair dyed or number 3.
Yeah. Sorry, we just made this up as far as a giveaway right before, so this wasn't planned, and that's part of the fun of live. You have you try something, it sometimes doesn't work, and it's real life.
Yes, you could type number 3 or the whole answer team. Okay, while they're verifying the winner, Callie, I'm just going to give you a second to just make if you're making sure, but tell me that that's final. So Pat, I would love for you to share, where people can find you and what your show is about today, so that people can jump right over from here to you.
Yeah, true. That's true.
On
so
Twitch,
you could
they
find
call
me...
that a raid. So we're going to raid Pat
Oh, yes.
today.
Nice. That's awesome. That's actually really cool. I wish YouTube would make it easy to do that, actually. Right? And I wish YouTube had a polling feature and all the there's so much that I wish, but it's still fun. You can find me at youtube.com/Pat Flynn. And if you are interested or happen to have maybe a kid who might be interested or an older kid who's interested in Pokemon, you can check out my channel there at Deep Pocket Monster. But yeah, youtube.com/Pat Flynn. I'll be going live in about 15 minutes, and we're going to be talking about my website, my personal website, and why it looks the way it does, and some of the reasons why some things are shared the way they are. So when it comes to website design and personal brand and presence online, I'll be sort of unpacking the behind the scenes of patflynn.com.
Yay! Awesome. Okay, are you ready for the winner? Hey, Archer. Hey, Archer. I see you just commented, will do, but yes. So, hey, Archer, congratulations. You win the Switch
Yay.
Pod. What you're going to do is send an email to support@livestreamingpros.com, and we will get this shipped out. Callie will do that for you guys, and she always includes a little love note. So, hey, Archer, congratulations for winning. Yay. You're gonna
I need
really
that
enjoy
confetti.
It.
I need that confetti.
We're gonna send you Stream Deck icons and confetti right after this, okay?
Awesome.
And anything else you want. Have you checked out the store? Have you I want you to go through that store and look for whatever you want, and we'll send it right over.
Thank you. I'll check it out soon.
Okay, so congratulations. You guys, I want you to head over to Pat's channel, watch his live stream, connect with him further. I know there are a lot of questions that we didn't actually get to answer today. So while he has a topic today, but go in and connect with him and participate in his conversation. Don't forget to hit subscribe to his channel.
Thank you. Yeah, tomorrow's game day, so you can win some prizes and stuff on the channel. Ooh. Saturday, we review websites and YouTube channels. And then Sunday is the big Q&A day where we answer 40, 50 questions in an hour.
I love that. 40 to 50 questions. All right, this is time to dance this baby out. So we do wrap this up with a little dance as well. So get ready. Everybody put your dancing shoes on. Do you have your dancing shoes on? All right, let's do this. Wait, hold on. I actually don't have it programmed on here. Hold on. I'm not on this particular Stream Deck profile. Hold on. I gotta switch. And I'm giving everybody time to put their dancing shoes on. It's really simple.
Yes, I gotta get my shoes on.
All right. Bye.